These top Trump officials were going down one by one on Capitol Hill today. Of course, earlier we reported on Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick making stunning and incriminating admissions about his trips to Epstein Island with his children. But in the House of Representatives, there were other hearings taking place as well. Lutnick was taking place in the Senate. In the House, you had Todd Lyons testifying before the Homeland Security Committee. Democratic Congressmember Dan Goldman started cross-examining Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE, and there were other officials from Border Patrol there as well. Goldman is a former federal prosecutor. Watch this cross-examination of the head of ICE, or the acting head of ICE, Todd Lyons. Let's play this clip.
Now, you are aware, of course, and there's numerous well-documented instances of people, American citizens, being asked to show and prove their citizenship. Do you know what other regimes in the 20th century required similar proof of citizenship?
Yes, sir.
What?
Sir, there was various nefarious regimes that did that.
Is Nazi Germany one?
Yes, but
Is the Soviet Union one?
I honestly,
sir, I'm asking the questions. Is the Soviet Union one?
Yes, sir, but I totally, this is the wrong type of questioning.
I'll tell you what the wrong type of
actually,
thing
sir,
is. Sir, it's
the
my
Holocaust
time.
Museum
Reclaiming
is
my time,
independence.
sir.
If you want to go
reclaiming
see
my
Nazis,
time,
that's what
Mr.
it is.
Chairman.
It's not the men and women of ICE that are out there doing it every day. So to say that the men and women of ICE that
Mr. Chairman, I'm reclaiming my time. I would like my time back, please. Please give me another 15 seconds because he was unnecessarily speaking. You said in your
Then we have Democratic Congressmember Swalwell cross-examining the acting head of ICE, Todd Lyons. Play this clip.
None.
How many ICE agents have been fired for their conduct under your leadership?
Sir, I can get you that data. I'll get that back to you.
Is it more than one?
I'm not going to speak about personnel actions, but I'll get you that data.
Can you tell us if at least, God, I hope at least one person has been fired for their conduct since these operations have begun? Are you telling us you can't even say one person's been fired?
Sir, I'm not going to talk about personnel actions, but we will get back to you.
But 2 people have been killed so far. Is that right? A nurse named Preddy and a mom named Good. 2 people have been killed so far.
Yes, sir.
Then I like this questioning over here from Congresswoman MacIver, who herself was arrested after ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo fabricated charges against her when she was out there in the Delaney facility in Jersey. Watch this.
That you may be able to answer. Mr. Lyons, do you consider yourself a religious man?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, how do you think Judgment Day will work for you with so much blood on your hands?
I'm not going to entertain that question.
Oh,
ma'am.
okay, of course not. Do you think you're going to hell, Mr. Lyons?
I'm not going to entertain.
Of course not. How many government...
The gentlelady will suspend. The gentlelady will suspend.
Chairman?
A gentlelady will suspend. As I said, the issues we're debating here are important to ones that members feel deeply about.
Thank you.
While vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum and debate. The witnesses are here voluntarily, and I will continue to remind members that while oversight is important, aggressively attacking those witnesses personally is inappropriate and not in keeping with the traditions of our committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just asking a question. You guys are always talking about religion here in the Bible. I mean, it's okay for me to ask a question, right? But let me continue on. I got your note.
All right, the gentlelady may resume.
Thank you so much. Let me get back.
Next, you have more cross-examination by Congressmember Swalwell right here. Play the clip.
Director Lyons, last year you said in Phoenix at the Border Security Expo that you wanted to see a deportation process that was like, quote, Amazon Prime, but with human beings. Mr. Lyons, how many times has Amazon Prime shot a mom 3 times in the face?
None, sir, but you're also...
It's the square root of 0, that's right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but if we're going to go down that route of my comment, I did say that comment. However, that comment was taken out. If you go back and watch the video, I did say that we need to be more efficient when it comes to removing individuals from the United States, because ICE doesn't detain punitively. We detain to remove. I don't want to see people in custody. At the end of my statement was, and again, to your point, it was a industry day for AI and efficiencies. But I did say at the end of it, but we deal with human beings, so we can't be like them.
And speaking
That's
of human,
the key part that you're leaving out.
Well, speaking of human beings, how many times has Amazon Prime shot a nurse 10 times in the back?
None.
How many times has Amazon Prime dragged a woman out of her car by her hair and then dragged her down the street?
None.
How many ICE agents have been fired for their conduct under your leadership?
Sir, I can get you that data. I'll get that back to you.
Is it more than one?
I'm not going to speak about personnel actions, but I'll get you that data.
Can you tell us?
Then Democratic Congressmember Lou Correa cross-examined the acting head of ICE, Todd Lyons. Let's play this clip.
People, young people asking me, what do I have to carry with me so I won't be deported? Is, Mr. Lyons, carrying a passport, is that enough so they won't be detained or deported in my district?
Sir, an American citizen shouldn't carry or shouldn't feel the need to carry.
Let me tell you what some of your ICE agents have done. They pulled over a gentleman in a pickup truck, showed his passport, they threw it to the side, detained him. What do we have to do to show that we're American citizens?
Sir, no American citizen falls under Title VIII. No American citizen will be arrested for being an American citizen.
But you just said to my colleague that nobody has been fired because of violations of the law for disciplinary actions, yet this is happening in my district. Mr. Lyons, we're a very boring district. We work hard, mind our own business. ICE in our streets now. People are terrorized. American citizens. Number of cases of Americans being detained, being taken in, some being held for 5 days. Sir.
More exchanges taking place here between Democratic Congressmember Goldman and Lyons. Let's play this clip.
5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Lyons, what guidance have you given to your agents about asking people walking on the streets of America to show proof of citizenship?
Sir, as I stated earlier, the men and women of ICE, deportation officers, special agents, we conduct targeted intelligence-driven operation. We don't walk around on the streets asking people about their American citizenship.
Really? So all of those individual American citizens who have been randomly asked are lying. Is that what you're saying?
Sir, if the men and women of ICE are conducting an investigation, whether it be for Title VIII immigration enforcement or Title 18 criminal enforcement, they'll ask someone their nationality.
Right, but that's not targeted because they're asking all sorts of American citizens, including off-duty law enforcement. Now, have you directed it?
More from Congressmember Swalwell. Let's play it.
5 minutes.
A couple nights ago, I met with a woman who works as a cashier at a grocery store, and I told her I was coming to see you, Mr. Lyons, and she said, will you ask him, and she didn't want to give her name. She was terrified to give her name. But she said, when I get off my shift around midnight and I walk through the parking lot to my car, she said, if somebody rolls up in an unidentified van and gets out wearing all black and their face is covered and they don't have any identification and they ask me to get into the van, how do I know who they are? How does she know, Mr. Lyons? How does she know if they're an ICE agent or bad guys?
Sir, ICE agents have identifiable placards on their uniforms as well as their badges representative, but you won't see ICE agents rolling through the parking lots and just snatching someone up. ICE does intelligence-driven, targeted enforcement operations.
Well, Mr. Homan and others have said that they target individuals based on the color of their skin and the accents that they speak, and that's why people are running through the fields and factories where they work. Director Lyons,
more from Congressmember Correa cross-examining Lyons.
U.S. citizens today?
No, sir.
Those people protesting, practicing the First Amendment right, photos of them, data taken, they're not being placed in any kind of a database?
There is no database for protesters, sir.
One of your officers in Maine said to one of the individuals protesting, we're going to put your face in a little database. What does that mean? Do you have a little database of Americans?
No, sir, we don't.
Then what do you think your ICE agent was doing to this individual when he said those statements?
I can't speak for that individual, sir, but I can assure you there is no database that's tracking United States citizens.
Sir.
Well, actually, let's roll the tape here because, as the Homeland Security Democrats say, somebody's lying here. This was the tape that was taken in Maine where the ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo agents said they were photographing a peaceful protester to put her on a database. Here, play this clip.
What you guys are doing here? Yeah. Look at them. Look at them. The ICE is here, guys. Be careful. Be careful. They're over here.
It's not illegal to record.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you? Are you crazy?
And we had more cross-examination here from Democratic Congress member Goldman. Let's play it.
Your opening statement that references to ICE as the Gestapo or the secret police encourages threats against ICE agents.
100%.
The problem is you have it backwards, sir. People are simply making valid observations about your tactics, which are un-American and outright fascist. So I have a simple suggestion. If you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one. But people are simply just observing what they are seeing.
We've got Democratic Congress member Seth Magaziner from Rhode Island. Let's play it.
This is video of what appears to be pepper spray thrown by a federal agent into Rafael Veraza's car.
You okay, mama? You okay?
Seconds later, he realized his daughter, 1-year-old Ariana, was in the back seat, also battling the chemicals.
Are you familiar with this incident?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a family of United States citizens who were out to get groceries at a Sam's Club in Chicago. When they arrived, they could see that there was a chaotic operation in the parking lot. They turned their vehicle to leave, at which point your agents sprayed pepper spray out of their vehicle and into the driver's side window of the Veraza's family vehicle. Is it proper procedure to aim pepper spray into the window of a moving vehicle?
I'm not familiar. I don't have all the details on this. It's an ongoing
I'm not asking about
investigation, but to answer your specific question,
is it proper procedure?
We try to avoid that. No, it's not.
Try to avoid it. Because you understand it's dangerous, right? Not just for the driver, but for pedestrians, for other people who could be hit by a car if a driver is blinded, right?
I 100% understand that, but you're talking about intentional versus not intentional.
Well, now listen.
I've been in a vehicle in one of these situations.
Scott, reclaiming my time. From the video, this was clearly intentional. And you know as well as I do that in any other law enforcement agency, if an officer did this, they would be put on leave, investigated, and likely disciplined. Were any of your agents ever investigated or disciplined for this incident?
I'll have to get back to you on this incident. I believe it's still an ongoing investigation, but we have at least 10
I'd like to show
open
you
cases.
another video. This one is from Minneapolis.
More from Congress member Swalwell right here.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lyons, will you apologize to the family of Renee Good for being called a domestic terrorist by the president and his leadership?
No, sir.
Why not?
Sir, I welcome the opportunity to speak to the family in private, but I'm not going to comment on any active investigation.
Is she a domestic terrorist?
Sir, I'm not going to comment on the investigation. And the president and Secretary Noem are elected officials. That's their right to their comments. But as career law enforcement, we won't speak to any.
Do you agree with their comments?
Sir, I'm not going to go ahead and talk about any ongoing investigation.
Will you apologize to the family of Alex Preddy for also being called a domestic terrorist?
Sir, again, I'm not going to speak to any ongoing investigation.
Mr. Lyons, you're staying.
How about Congress member Kennedy, Democrat? Let's play it.
Will you commit, yes or no, to immediately unmasking every agent conducting immigration enforcement and requiring them to wear standard uniforms with identifiable badges?
No.
Well, it's a sad response. Your answer is completely unacceptable. People who are proud of what they do aren't hiding their identity. We're a nation of laws, and you, your boss, Secretary Noem, and Donald Trump are not above the law.
More from Magaziner.
So as you can see, the agent sprayed pepper spray at close range directly into the face of an individual who had already been pinned to the ground by 3 other agents. And there's a picture of this behind me to give you a better view. Is this proper procedure for the use of pepper spray?
I cannot comment on that because you're only showing one piece, and that subject is clearly not compliant.
But this is not the intended use of this weapon, correct?
The intended use is to try to avoid escalating. It's to de-escalate the situation.
Well, he was already pinned to the ground by 3 other agents. I think he had been de-escalated. Is there any investigation into this agent for doing this?
I'll get back to you. There are several open investigations.
All right. Listen, there has been no accountability in your agency under the Trump administration. None. Your agency.
And here's what Congressmember Walkinshaw from Virginia had to say.
In this administration, under your watch, ICE has booked nearly 4,000 children. And 1,000 of them have been held longer than the court-ordered 20-day limit. Recently, ProPublica obtained handwritten letters and drawings from children detained by ICE. These are letters from children describing what it feels like and what it does to them when the government locks them up. This is Ariana. She's 14 years old, detained for 45 days. Since I got to this center, all I feel is sadness and mostly depression. This is Mia, 7 years old. I don't want to be in this place. I want to go to my school. This is Scarlett, 17 years old. I feel very bored and overwhelmed because I am locked up. This is Gabby, 14 years old. I feel so much sadness and depression of not being able to leave. This is Maria, 9 years old. Me and Dilly am not happy. Please get me out of here. This is a 12-year-old going to the doctor, and the only thing they tell me is drink more water. The water here is what makes people sick. And this one got me, Mr. Lyons, because this is a 5-year-old, Luis Annie. My son's 5. He can't write many words, but he can communicate through drawings like this. This is a picture of Luis Annie's family. And you might be able to see that none of the faces are smiling. Child detention is not required by law. You know that. It's not the only option available. And it's not effective. We know that community-based alternatives can ensure compliance with proceedings without traumatizing these children. Yet, you continue to detain and hold children for weeks or months, depriving them of school, stability, leaving them afraid, sick, and confused. And one of the key reasons for your mass detention, including the detention of Liam and his father, is to pressure people to give up their legal opportunities and pathways to remaining in the United States. Liam's father was following the rules, following the legal process with a valid claim. Let me be clear. No child, not Liam Ramos, not Gabby, or any of these children should be used as pawns in Stephen Miller's sick and twisted great replacement agenda.
Now I want to bring in Democratic Congressmember Raja Krishnamoorthi from the great state of Illinois. Congressman, great to see you as always. So I was showing clips there at the outset in the Homeland Security Committee cross-examining Todd Lyons, who is refusing to unmask the ICE agents who are terrorizing communities like those in your district and others in Chicago, Illinois, and across this country, Minneapolis, and of course in many other places. What's your overall view, though, when you see, someone like Todd Lyons, who runs ICE, he reports to Krishnamoorthi, just show up in there and just so brazenly, he was asked questions by, I think, Congressmember Goldman, like, are you aware that it was, the Nazis who wore masks? Yep. And in Soviets, they wore masks? Yep. And you see nothing wrong with you doing exactly what these fascists did? Nope, I don't see anything at all. Like it is so brazen and in our face.
It's kind of like in Russia where Vladimir Putin says, people, just walked off a ledge or walked through a window, that he didn't actually murder them. It's so in your face that it defies common sense. And that's the point. Like, they want you to just live with that and not challenge their authority, not challenge the facts as they frame them, not challenge any suppositions or their power. And that's completely outrageous. And in my humble opinion, the masks have to come off, the body cameras need to go on, the ID has to go on, there can't be warrantless arrests, there have to be third-party investigations of the use of force, and there can't be roving gangs of ICE and CBP agents stirring up trouble in cities. These are like common sense kind of reforms, so to speak, that have to happen. We have to abolish Trump's ICE, his version of ICE.
Such an interesting example you give there of Putin, because when all of these people start to die, you have Peskov, who's their version of Caroline Levitt, or, Sergei Lavrov, who's their version of, Hegseth or Rubio or whoever, saying, we don't know what happened. I guess he was, just sleepwalking, and that must be what happened. And the sinking feeling that people in authoritarian regimes must have when you hear those things and go, okay, we know he killed him. That exists here. I mean, talk to us about what you observed, for example, during this deposition of Ghislaine Maxwell. You sit in the House Oversight Committee, and she previously refused to testify, saying that she had to wait for the Supreme Court to rule on her appeal. Otherwise, she would have to invoke the Fifth. So MAGA Republican Chairman Comer says, okay, we'll let you delay it from last August until, this past week. Then she shows up and she goes, I'm going to have to invoke my Fifth Amendment because I've got a habeas petition pending, which any prisoner in the United States has a habeas petition pending if they want to. But she says, but guess what? If you give me clemency, this is what she said at the deposition. If you give me clemency, Donald, I will exonerate you publicly. Like, she said that. And I'm like, what? You were there. What was going through your mind? What
happened? It was surreal, man. It was completely surreal. First of all, when I looked and saw the screen where she's doing her remote deposition from, it did not look like a prison. It looked like a dining room. It looked like some nice mansion or something where she was staying. And it just reminded me that she got this sweetheart deal from Donald Trump to basically be put into what they call club fed in return for her silence or fabricating testimony or for quote unquote exonerating Donald Trump. And then the next thing that happened is she invoked her right to remain silent. And, essentially she has that right. But basically what it means is that there are additional facts out there that she doesn't want to talk about that could be incriminating to her. It would expose her to additional criminal liability. And so then she says, her lawyer says, but if you were to give her clemency, well, then she would really tell you the whole truth. And it's like, come on, man, this is completely backwards. In our country, you don't get clemency, you don't get a pardon, or you should not, unless you admit guilt, you show remorse, you cooperate, you try to do what law enforcement and the public want you to do to make things right. She's done none of those things. She's never admitted guilt. She's never shown remorse. And now she's saying she's only going to cooperate, so to speak, if she gets clemency. So I've introduced a resolution saying she should never be given clemency. She should never get a pardon. She's a monster. She's a sex trafficking criminal. And so that's where I stand on Ghislaine Maxwell, in case you wondered.
But, you ask people like James Comer and Tom Cole and these other MAGA Republicans, should she get clemency? Maliotakis, when she was speaking to our reporter on Capitol Hill, said, I can't answer that. I have to go see a physician. Comer said, I don't know. That's up to Donald Trump. Cole walked away and he said, yeah, I'm not going to be able to answer that question. How do you not answer? Like, at a basic level, set aside Democrat, Republican, Independent, at a basic level, how could the answer to should she get clemency be anything but no when you're dealing with a child sex trafficker who, in addition to being a child sex trafficker, if there could be anything worse, we've seen the worst stuff in the files that have just been released. And she lied through her teeth when she spoke to Todd Blanche several months ago and said, I don't know anything about it. It's like you're all over the. So if anything, it's like, how do your conduct get worse? It's gotten worse. And then the Republicans like, if Donald wants clemency, then maybe we do it. Maybe we give the trafficker clemency.
Look, some of my colleagues need a spinal transplant. And I think that they just lack the spine and backbone to say the right thing, even when it's staring them in the face. Now, given all that said, I do want to give credit where credit's due. I think that Mr. Massey on the other side has really shown some leadership on the Epstein files issue. And I think that there are others as well. But by and large, people are still frightened about being primaried or worse by Donald Trump. Something tells me as these filing deadlines start to slide by in different states, all of a sudden, I think some of these people will muster more courage. But right now, I'm very disappointed, to say the least, that they can't even say that Ghislaine Maxwell should not get a pardon or clemency. That is completely unacceptable.
Also, one of the big stories today is that MAGA Mike Johnson wants to push through a rule that basically says Article 1 doesn't exist, that Congress, which has the power of tariffs, not the executive, that Congress should basically pass a rule and push forward a process where Congress can't opine at all on Article 1 stuff, taxation, tariffs, and that should all be ceded to Article 2, which, what the hell is the point of a constitution? Right. And not only that, but MAGA Mike is trying to fly in members of Congress as we speak in order to pass this rule to say we should not be able to pass any law. So we can't even get to the point where we have debate. That's what the rules are. We can't even get to the debate on Congress blocking the president's unlawful tariffs. And that's what that's what they're focused on today. Like, while the American people are going through all of this stuff, this is MAGA Mike's big initiative. It's pathetic.
This is their initiative today. And two points. One, of course, our president says that he is doing an A++ job on the economy. And everyone I talk to says he's doing an F- job on the economy. And I think the reason they say that is because prices are going through the roof for everything. And one of the reasons is he's imposed blanket tariffs on everything from everywhere. And when you do that, you hike prices on everything for everyone. And so understandably, there are Republicans on the other side who want to join with Democrats to curb his tariff chaos, to put an end to it. And in this particular case, I believe that we are going to take up tariffs on Canada. And so they want to put forward a rule that basically says we can't ever introduce similar legislation that would curb the president's tariff power, when, of course, it's our power to begin with. It's a taxation power. That's what tariffs are. They are taxes on regular people in America and businesses in America. And so I still think they're going to have a hard time passing this thing, but we Democrats have to stay united and against it.
Definitely people are focused right now. We'll end with this. Like, to the extent the American people were not paying attention, then trying to avoid paying attention, I think we've gotten to the place now of hyper attention, of like WTF, whether it's ICE, whether it's Epstein, whether it's jobs losses. I mean, like, you just had Peter Navarro saying we should now just be expecting 35,000 to 50,000 jobs is going to be great because of all the immigrants. I'm not even like, oh my God, what are you even saying? What are you even talking about? And I just think that people are saying, what the hell is happening here? Is AI going to be replacing us? It seems that's part of the people. There seems to be hyper attention to this moment right now. So before we go, what do you want to say to our 6 million subscribers?
Oh, well, first of all, what an honor to be with you. And I think you called me part of the OG when your podcast was just getting started. And it's incredible how you've grown. Look, I think that there's hyper attention because people are getting hurt in a way that we haven't seen before, whether it's 17 million people about to lose their health insurance because the quote unquote big beautiful bill, I'll call it the large lousy law, along with Republicans' refusal to extend ACA tax credits, is going to take health insurance away from them. Or it's tariffs, which are causing chaos for small businesses and working families, raising prices for everyone, or federal funding freezes on childcare, healthcare, education programs, just randomly across the country, even infrastructure and transit programs, just because Donald Trump is going after his political enemies. That hurts normal working people. And now they're paying attention because it's hurting them and it's hurting their families and businesses. And so now it's time to do something about it. I'm glad that people are taking note, but now it's time to take action too.
Congressman Krishnamoorthi, thanks for joining us as always.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And a reminder, Congressman Krishnamoorthi is also running for that Senate seat in Illinois, and we're following that as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit subscribe. We appreciate you.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.